Good morning, everyone. I'm jumping ahead to the afternoon. Welcome to this edition of Up to the Minute. My name is Sade Campbell. I'm the Enrollment Communications Manager here at HCC. Pleased to host and be joined by my co-host, Parrish Murphy, who's going to tell everyone how to find us on social media.
Got a little cool on you, and you just forgot if it was morning or afternoon, didn't you? The cool just blew you away. How you doing today, Sade? We're live on Houston Community College District Facebook page. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. And we're on Instagram. And we're also on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thanks so much for that, Parrish, and for the grace of giving me a reason why I don't know what time of day it is, you know?
That's my superpower. That is one of my superpowers, I'm telling you.
There you go. Well, today for Virtual Family Fun Day, we'll be hearing about goat yoga out in Katy. Yes, you heard right, goat yoga. And we'll be joined by Tiffany. Good morning, Tiffany.
You're muted. Right. Mute your mic.
Seems like she's having a little trouble. Well, Tiffany Thompson is the founder and farm director of Rose Therapeutic Farm and Goat Yoga. We will hear from her and Parrish later in the show. But first, the faculty auction is next week, and this guest can truly tell us how to make an American quilt because she made it to auction off at the event. We welcome to the show Sandra Farmer, who's a public service librarian for our HCC Northwest system. Welcome to the show, Sandy.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So happy to have you. As we shared, the HCC Foundation auction has a tradition of supporting professional development opportunities for HCC faculty, and it is happening next week. And as a faculty member, many don't know that librarians fall under that faculty area. You are contributing with a donation, and you're part of a local chapter of quilt makers who have been as busy as little bees working on quilts for the auction. But before we get into all you've done, let's talk about that group that you're a part of.
I'm part of the Greater Houston Quilt Guild, and we're a public service organization that makes quilts and teaches quilting. Many of our quilters are award-winning quilters across the country, and including at our big Houston Quilt Festival every year. But our biggest goal as a guild is to make quilts for charity. We donate thousands of quilts every year to children's charities and to Quilts of Valor and other charities across the city and across the country. And we're proud to do so.
Such a wonderful cause. It's a lost art, you know. I would think it's something a lot of people, I saw even on social media, how a lot of the younger generation are getting back into film. So I think quilting is just like on that list of people are finding ways to disconnect. I would think it may have a second comeback.
Oh, it's had more than a second comeback. There are hundreds of thousands and millions of quilters across the country and across the world. One of our meetings this week for the Quilt Guild, we learned about quilters in Japan.
Oh, wow.
There are quilters all over the world, and it's a growing hobby and art.
Yeah, absolutely. I have, I guess, somewhat of an heirloom that I keep of my great grandmother. So it's definitely something.
Oh, yes.
Well, let's get into these great designs that'll be featured at the auction, starting with the American Eagle in Flight, which is the one that is representing HCC. For those that don't know, we are the mighty HCC Eagles. So there is the connection. Who designed and made the quilt?
The quilt was designed by, I have forgotten. The quilt was designed.
Shaw Quilting?
Thank you, Shaw Quilts. It's a pattern that I purchased on Etsy from her. And then I put the quilt together. It looks very different from the original. And this is the quilt that's up for auction. The other quilts we'll see today are quilts that I've made for people or for myself. And this is the auction quilt, and it's an eagle in flight. And it's surrounded by the HCC colors. And the goal was to represent HCC and to give the auction something that's handmade and represents what my art, what I do. And I needed a project.
You needed a project. You
I needed a
HCC
project.
doesn't keep you busy enough, I tell you. And I'm also seeing that there was a Cinco de Mayo quilt and a spiral quilt, a couple different types of quilts.
The Cinco de Mayo quilt took me 8 years. That was a project. Yes, that was a project of love and is hanging on my wall at home. If we look at that quilt, each color change is a change in fabric. So some of the pieces of fabric are this big, and some are much larger. So it was a fun quilt to do. And I worked on a lot of other projects in that 8 years, but that was an eight-year labor of love to complete.
Wow. And what about the spiral quilt?
I have a colleague who bought a new house, and it was very taupe. And he wanted a taupe house, and I'm happy for him, but I needed color in his house. So I made the spiral quilt to give him some color that was acceptable to him, that wasn't too much, didn't scare him, but gave him something to hang on his wall that was original. And when I did that quilt, I learned a whole new technique for creating the quilt top. It's a collage quilt that's different from anything that I've done, inspired by the Susan Carlson quilts. And I really wanted to try that technique. So he got a quilt and I got to play.
Add a little color to his life because he seemed like he had a affinity for neutrals.
Yes, very much so.
And what about this elephant quilt that I'm seeing as awesome?
The elephant quilt was a gift for my niece who was having a baby. And I was given instructions that the colors were mint and gray. And yes, I could have made a gray elephant, but why make a gray elephant when you can make a teal elephant?
Well, there is definitely that. And, clearly this is a labor of love. I mean, 8 years for one quilt. Yes. And I mean, it seems like you have built quite the collection, and so much so that you have an event in January called the Joy of Quilts in Stafford. Tell us about that.
Our guild will be presenting Joy of Quilts in January, and it's a chance for folks to come in for about $10 and see art on display. It does cost $10. That money comes to the guild to help pay for the show, but also help pay for the quilts that we donate and the fabric and things. And it's beautiful. Our quilters are amazing, and you can view those quilts for a whole $10 and enjoy the exhibits and leave knowing that you've left your money in good hands and that you have seen some beautiful artwork.
I love to hear you've shared a couple of these pieces, but you have a collection. What would you say is your favorite piece, if you could narrow it down?
My favorite piece that I have is my Cinco de Mayo that I spent the time on.
Gotcha. And, and in the library, you all have a lot of events. I think we have a couple of what we call community learning programs around learning how to quilt and how to sew. If someone is interested in getting into this, where would you say the best place to start is?
Well, I'll be doing some programming out at the Katy Library starting soon. I just started. I've been part-time for a number of years, and I just started full-time on Monday. So we've got to get all of that off the ground. We're going to try to have a crocheting club out there and a knitting club, and hopefully teach some hand quilting since we don't have any machines out at Katy. Hand quilting is fun and can be very rewarding. I've been working on some hand quilting for a long time, and you can create really beautiful pieces that way.
Well, congratulations on becoming full-time.
Thank you.
Quite the milestone. And thank you so much for your contributions. We wish you the best of luck at the auction and with your group. Again, the Bedichek Orman auction, supporting faculty development opportunities for HCC faculty, is on Friday, October 28th at the West Houston Institute. It's not too late to register. Thank you, Sandra Farmer, who is
You're
a public
welcome. Please, Dad, please, Dad.
Yes, please come check it out. Please support the auction. And thank you so much, Sandra, for joining us and again for your contributions. We'll have more information about her quilts and the auction posted after the show.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
You too. Well, Parrish, are you ready to move on to our Family Fun Day topic of goat yoga?
Goat yoga. Absolutely. I read this and I said, what? We have the pleasure of having Tiffany Thompson. Tiffany is founder of Rose Therapeutic Farm and Goat Yoga. Tiffany, well, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? Thanks so much for having me out.
Yeah, you're out. You're outside.
I'm out. And yeah, the sun has been moving on me. So I finally got a good spot. Hopefully I can.
The sun will move on you. It'll do that.
The lighting
That's why we mostly do it in the studio. The sun will move.
So thank you so much for having me on today. I appreciate
Absolutely. Now I'm interested in this. Now, before we get into the goat yoga, now you recently changed the name of your business to Rose Therapeutic Farm.
Yes, I did. So obviously we started with just goat yoga a few years back, actually about 5.5. And then we moved to a farm not too far away in Brookshire. And when we bought the property, it had a whole lot of gorgeous rose bushes all over the property. And it's been a favorite flower of mine for a long, long time. So I thought I'll name it Rose Therapeutic Farm because I want it to be a therapy farm. And then I also came up with a great acronym for our mission, and that is reviving the family farm, offering animal therapy, supporting local ranchers, and our goal, ending factory farming. So that's why we changed the name, and we do a lot more than just goat yoga now. We have a family farm activities and all kinds of things that you can come and enjoy the farm.
Okay, well, before we go any further, please explain to me, what is goat yoga?
Well, goat yoga is quite simply what it sounds like. You're outside, you do yoga. I usually teach a flow class. We've got lots of cute little goats like this one here, Maggie, that come and visit you on your mat. They like to climb on things and nibble. As you can see, she's getting my hair right here. They're very mischievous and really comical. So there's my rooster. So they turn it into a really fun, kind of a silly experience, and it gets people out of their heads. So a lot of people go to a yoga class and they're like, I'm not flexible, or I can't do this pose. I don't have good balance. They're thinking about all these things. And when they get on the mat and there's these goats jumping around, all of those thoughts and worries go out of their head and they're just able to enjoy the experience.
Great. Now, what are the benefits of goat yoga?
Well, laughter is a big one, right? So laughter is the greatest medicine there is. And I haven't seen one person that can make it through the class without rolling around laughing and having a big smile on their face. And then, of course, the traditional benefits of yoga. We will do some stretching. We focus on breathing exercises because those are very important. And it's a great way to help you calm your nerves if you're in a stressful situation, relieve anxiety. And then we do some core strength. And the goats help with that, right, Maggie? Because they like to jump on your back. And when you're trying to do a plank pose with the goat on your back, it's quite a bit more challenging.
Now, I love the phrase you use. You say that goats bring the zen and you bring the yoga. Explain that to me.
Well, sometimes they bring the zen. Oh, you're okay. sometimes they, towards the end of class, they start to mellow out and they'll find somebody's mat and lay down and go to sleep on their mat. And the people, I mean, the guests just love this, right? Because now they've got this goat, mama goat sometimes with her baby goats next to her sleeping on their mat. And it's very relaxing. It's very zen. I wrote that before I taught a bunch of classes because a lot of times they bring a little bit more yang, a little bit more energy as well.
Okay. Now, how did Rose Therapeutic Farm come to be? How did you come up with this entire concept?
So, as I mentioned before, we bought this property and moved out here about 3 years ago. And once we acquired this property, we started acquiring a lot more animals. Our first big animal that we acquired was Daryl the cow. Well, he's a steer and he's a Brangus bull. Then we rescued a few pigs, some tortoises, a bunch of chickens, some ducks, and pretty soon we had a full farm. So I wanted to offer this experience. I love being out on the property and being with the animals. And I knew how therapeutic it was for me and my friends and my family. I used to work in the city. I had a big job in medical sales, and coming out here has changed my life. And I wanted to share that with people that work in the city and maybe don't have family with access to farm animals. And that's really just how it all transitioned. It was very organic.
Great. The country is very peaceful. I'll agree with you there. The country is very, very peaceful. Now,
absolutely.
I understand that Rose Therapeutic Farm, I understand it's an acronym for something. What is it an acronym for?
So it stands for Reviving the Family Farm, Offering Animal Therapy, Supporting Local Ranchers. And through all of those things, we hope to help end factory farming. Factory farming, if people aren't aware of the term, it refers to these big, huge warehouses, mass-produced animal products. And it can be anything from chicken meat, chicken eggs, to pigs. Cows don't usually go into those situations, but a lot of things that we buy at the grocery store, we don't realize how it's been sourced. And I like to educate people on how you can find other options, and that's through supporting local ranchers. There's a multitude of farmers in our area. I mean, within 50 miles from me, there's probably half a dozen farmers that you can go to, and you can buy a lot of the same things you get at the grocery store. It might have a slight premium, but you know that it's been sourced humanely, and you're getting a much better product.
Great. Now, what's the mission of your farm?
Our mission is to get people to escape the city and enjoy the simple life. So it's quite simple. You know, get out of your normal setting, get out of those fenced-in yards or those buildings that you sit in every day. Come sit outside in a lawn chair and watch goats play. Watch the chickens peck on the ground. I get to do that every day, but it's nice for some people to be able to do that once a month or twice a month.
Now, how would someone benefit from coming to the farm? I understand you say it's a therapeutic experience. Explain some of those things to me.
So the benefit is that you come out here and you relax and unwind. One of the key pillars of yoga is being present and being in the moment. And when you're doing something like feeding an animal or a goat sitting in your lap or goat yoga or holding a baby bunny, it makes it really easy for you to just be present in that moment and not be thinking about what you're doing next or worrying about what's going to happen later in the day or thinking about chores you have to do or a project for school or work. So it just gets you out of your headspace and you get to just be here and soak in the beauty of being in nature.
Great. Now, what type of events do you guys offer outside of the yoga, the goat yoga experiences? You know, what other type of events do you guys put together?
So we teach summer camp. We have spring break camp, and then we have some camps over the winter where people come out, children come out and they learn about animal husbandry, helping us take care of gardens and things like that. Right now is October, so we're doing pumpkin carving with goats, which is always a favorite. Excuse me. And it's just like what it sounds. People come out and carve pumpkins, and the goats jump up on the table and help you do that. We have baby goat snuggle sessions. So you can come out and snuggle a cute little baby like this girl here, Maggie. She likes to give kisses. She's a bottle baby, so she's super friendly, but she'll cuddle right up in your lap and you can squeeze her and she'll fall asleep and take a nap. We do spin strolls with goats for the adults, of course. If you want to get a glass of wine or your favorite beverage, and just kind of watch out here and watch the goats as they graze and meander about the property. We do birthday parties, bachelorette parties. Think I'm covering most everything, but we have all kinds of crafts that are coming up for the fall. So you can make a gift for a Christmas present or an ornament. If you'd like to come out and you just enjoy the farm while you're doing making the craft and just have a good old time with the animals and your creative side.
That is awesome. Her name is Tiffany Thompson, and she is founder of Rose Therapeutic Farm and Goat Yoga. We'll have more information on her and her goat yoga at the end of our show in a post. Tiffany, thank you so much for being on the show. Great having you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So you got that, Sade? Goat yoga. We need to get out to the country and we need to do some goat yoga.
Yes, I mean, and she even added the baby goat for a special touch for the interview. You have to learn it.
Absolutely.
I've seen it on TV, but I haven't seen it just more up close and personal to me. Get to speak to someone who's really, really, really doing it.
Interesting. She's combined a lot of stuff. She's combined animals. She's combined the peace and tranquility of the country. It's an interesting concept. It is.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about our two guests, I think, a lot of people and specifically generations behind us are feeling really overstimulated, and people are trying to find those avenues, those outlets to disconnect. So I think
it's the machine. We've become so attached to the machine that we don't go out and we don't just, enjoy peace anymore. We have to have something we have to have our face in front of a screen or something like that. So it's a wonderful thing. So conversations. Have you ever had brave conversations?
Yeah, those brave conversations, tough conversations.
Right. Well, HCC Counseling Department is presenting Too Difficult to Love. Man, that sounds like an autobiography. Reclaiming radical gendered embodiment, which is part of its women's perspectives, creating a space for brave conversations. It happens 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is Friday, October the 21st, and it happens on Zoom. We'll have more information in that in our post after the show.
All right, we're calling all HCC staff and faculty. Virtual coffee breaks are back, hosted by Talent Engagement. We all need time to connect, but sometimes it can be difficult. Grab a cup of coffee and join members of the Talent Engagement team for a virtual coffee break to hear about the Performance Excellence Program Tip of the Month and learn more about HCC and your colleagues. Mark your calendars for 11:15 on Tuesday, October 25th. And registration is required. Check our post after the show for more details.
Fall food trucks are back. The Community Health Market Trailer, better known as the Houston Food Bank truck, is back at HCC. All students, faculty, and staff can sign up for available time slots. Just pick the campus, the date, and the time to pick up your food. And that happens 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. through 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. through October 27th on multiple campuses. We'll have more information in our posts after the show.
Yes, and our Chancellor's Award for DEI Excellence. For those that don't know, DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. There's still time to think of who you believe deserve the Chancellor's Excellence Award for DEI. The award winner receives recognition at convocation, a dinner with the Chancellor and DEI officer, and a $5,000 cash award per individual, or $500 per a team member if it's a team nomination. HCC employees can nominate individuals or teams who meet the award criteria found on the website, and information about how to nominate someone will be posted after the show. Just be sure to get in your nominations by the deadline of November 1st.
Okay, just so you know, it's 2 R's. It's Parrish, Murphy, Murphy. Just,
I had a real
just so
slow
you know.
moment. I was like, why do I need to know how to spell your name?
Just so you know, just so you know.
Subtle.
Become a civic trustee. HCC's Community Learning is offering online workshops to help learn no blame, practical problem solving, government decision making, and city leadership roles without running for office. It happens 9 a.m. until noon, Mondays through December the 12th. It happens virtually. Check our posts after the show for the link for more details.
All right, everyone. And as we wrap out with our tradition of letting you know at HCC, we enroll all year. And so there is still time to enroll for late start courses for fall, and our current students and prospective and future Eagles should be checking out the website for upcoming updates about spring registration that'll be opening really soon on November 7th. Students will have the opportunity to enroll in online anytime, online on a scheduled courses, hybrid and in-person courses. For registration for all HCC programs, go to hccs.edu/apply. All right. Well, looking ahead this week, we will have another student success story who will join us. This one is from our artificial intelligence program, a part of the Digital and IT Center of Excellence here at HCC. And this program this particular student has more jobs lined up than we can count. Looking forward to that. And it'll also be filmed Friday. You won't want to miss that. We thank you for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We will see you next time.